Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your #1 source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Grab a coat. Our temperatures are running 10 to 15 degrees colder this morning than they were yesterday, but I'll show you a big warm-up that's on the way.
There are just 8 days left until the 2024 election, and candidates are making their final push to sway voters. We'll have a look at the record-breaking early voter numbers, as today marks one of the final days to vote early.
Plus, over $1 million have been raised for Hurricane Helene relief in the North Carolina mountains. The big concert held here in Raleigh that contributed to that and brought together some big names in country and bluegrass music. It was a wonderful evening of music and hope. More than a month after Helene hit, Western North Carolina is not forgotten. Hello, everyone. It is 6 o'clock. We're here to kick off your work week. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Thanks for making us part of your Monday here. And a music-filled weekend, really, with the event in Charlotte as well, all going to that good cause. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now with a look right down the middle of Raleigh there.
Yeah, it looks nice out there this morning, nice and quiet. This is a live look from our Jimmy V camera down Fayetteville Street this morning. Flags are moving a little bit, but it's not too breezy out there. It is chilly, though. 45 degrees. Our dew point, a dry 43. We take a look at temperatures. It's cooler in the north, of course. 36 in Roxborough, 40 South Hill. Could be a little bit of patchy frost there. Most of us are in the mid-40s, but we're looking at a warmer Clinton at 53 degrees. Our temperatures are anywhere from around 10 to 15 degrees colder than they were this time yesterday, though. But we're about to see the temperatures heading the opposite direction. We were in the 50s for most of the day yesterday, but closer to 70 for this afternoon. Watching the tropics closely still, a 40% chance that a system could develop down here in the Caribbean. But it's really unsure about what may happen with this. Most likely, a high-pressure system will keep it to the south, but our American model wants to develop it and bring it off the coast of the United States. So that's something that we'll be watching closely, Ken.
Elizabeth, at 6:01, the good news is you're about to head out. No major incidents to report on any of our major roadways, which is good. Speaking of our major roadways, here's one of them. I-40 and Airport Boulevard traffic is definitely picking up and moving nicely in both directions, which is good news, right? Elsewhere around the Triangle and surrounding communities in Durham, down east, and Wendell, all those routes are delay-free. If you're heading out this morning, listen to us on the radio. Take us with you. 101.5 HD3. You can listen to us anywhere in the Triangle. You have a couple more options at 99.3 FM in Raleigh and 96.5 FM in Durham.
Next Tuesday, Americans will cast their votes for who they want to become president on Election Day. The race is tight. Latest NBC poll shows former President Donald Trump at 48%, Vice President Kamala Harris at 45%. WRAL's Heidi Kirk joins us live from the Herbert Young Community Center. With the candidates only a week left to pitch themselves and their policies to voters. Heidi, good morning.
Good morning, Jeff, and you got that right. The countdown is on. We are just 8 days away from Election Day. It is hard to believe. And as you mentioned, both presidential campaigns are refocusing here in North Carolina and ramping up their campaigns in this home stretch. And as they've been rallying here, they've all been mentioning one thing, and that is get out and early vote. Now, the North Carolina State Board of Elections has 22 early voting locations, and as you've mentioned, they've seen record turnouts so far this year. Now, in Wake County, if you're planning to get out and vote, they've got a really helpful tool here. They've created a wait time tracker and an interactive map to help you when you make your plan to get out and cast your ballot. Now, the app can help you find the closest location to you with the shortest wait time. We have information on WRAL.com on how you can find that. Now, early voting runs through November 2nd at 3 p.m. You can find any early polling location in the county that you are registered to vote. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live in Cary.
And you can use the WRAL voter guide to help make your voting plan. Just enter your address to find a sample ballot. You can check your voter registration and early voting times and places. Find it all on WRAL.com. Just search vote.
Democratic candidate for Governor Josh Stein is holding a rally at UNC Chapel Hill today. Stein, along with Governor Roy Cooper, will spend the afternoon encouraging students on the importance of voting. The rally will be at Graham Memorial Terrace this afternoon at 3.
A heads up for people who are driving around Wake County in this area. Work to improve a bridge on Falls of Noose Road will begin this morning. And WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live now. Kelsey, this closure is going to be in place for weeks.
Jeff, it will. These lane closures could impact your morning commute starting today. And you can see that there's a sign here behind me on Falls of Noose Road that warns drivers about these lane closures. Now there it says October 25th, and that's because this bridge repair was originally scheduled for Friday, but then it was pushed back to this morning. But we'll go ahead and give you a look now at a map so you can see the area that will be impacted by these bridge repairs. The lane closures here will happen in phases. The northbound lanes from Old Falls of Noose Road to Wakefield Pines Drive will close first. That's expected to last for about a month. Then phase 2 will start in the southbound lanes of those same roads. The southbound lane closures would also last for several weeks. And the bridge repair is scheduled to start this morning at 9 o'clock. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Western North Carolina is reaching new milestones in its recovery from Helene. Today, Asheville City school students and staff will return to the classroom on a modified schedule. Bus routes have been tested, and food and drinkable water have been secured to make the return possible. Buncombe County school students returned on Friday.
More than $1.1 million was raised through WRAL Cares and the Music for the Mountains concerts. A big night in Raleigh last night. Thousands of people came together at Red Hat Amphitheater to send aid to the mountains. Some big names in country music, bluegrass music. Chatham County Line was there. Headliners Old Crow Medicine Show donated their time, energy, and voices. Old Crow frontman Ketch Secor says headlining the show was a personal cause for him.
The roads are safe and the infrastructure's back in place, and we get to go do that work. We're here in Raleigh because this is as close as we can get, and at a safe distance, we're able to raise a big arms of support to make a difference.
So you think about that, over $1 million raised. According to Governor Roy Cooper's office, the total estimated cost of damage from Helene is $53 billion. While Music for the Mountains is coming to a close, there are still ways for you to support Western North Carolina. Every donation counts. You can go to WRAL.com, scan the QR code on your screen, help make a big impact.
Durham Mayor Leonardo Williams will visit the district's newest school today. Williams will speak to over 100 Murray-Massenburg elementary students who participate in Sidekicks Academy. Sidekicks is a character education program teaching kids about martial arts, mental health, and social justice. The program began at Murray-Massenburg Elementary in September.
North Carolina's Halloween Booze It and Lose It campaign begins today. Law enforcement officials will increase patrols to take drunk drivers off the roads. State officials say people who plan to celebrate the season with alcohol should plan for a designated sober driver in advance of their festivities. The campaign runs through next Sunday.
A house went up in flames in Durham on South Miami Boulevard. Part of the road was blocked off yesterday afternoon as crews put out the fire. And WRAL learned this was not the first time a fire has happened here. Durham Fire says this started around 2:30 in the afternoon. It took firefighters about 10 minutes to put the fire out. A man was inside the home at the time. He got out safely and did not have to be taken to the hospital. The fire could be seen from miles down the road, and people described what they saw and smelled.
As soon as I opened the door, I could smell the terrible smell. It smelled like almost, I don't know if you've ever smelled burning tires, but it smelled like burning tires to me. And you could see the black, thick smoke. It smelled so bad.
People who live in the area say this is the second fire in just a few months at the same address. Durham Fire confirmed that fire happened on June 8th. We've asked the Durham County Fire Marshal's office what caused this fire. They tell us they're investigating.
San Francisco 49ers and Dallas Cowboys Sunday night football. The Niners are now in second place in the NFC West after they beat their rivals. 49ers took the lead in the third quarter. Running back Isaac Guerrero scored his first career touchdown, followed by one by George Kittle, and then a couple from CeeDee Lamb, their Cowboys receiver, as they tried to battle back in the fourth quarter, but not enough. The Niners win it 30-24.
Week 8 of the NFL season wraps up tonight. The Pittsburgh Steelers will host the New York Giants. Kickoff is set for 8:15 p.m. You can watch the game on ESPN.
10 after 6 right now. It is the 5th day in a standoff between Minnesota police and a man accused of shooting his neighbor. Why the police chief says the department failed that neighbor.
And quarter pounders are going back on the menu at McDonald's nationwide. Why the company says they feel safe to do so after the E. coli outbreak. And meteorologist Elizabeth Garner has a look at our forecast. A chilly start this morning.
Yeah, I came in my coat. I'm sure you did too. And you're going to want to do that for the next several mornings. But we do have a big warm up in our forecast. Halloween looks way above normal. I'll show you how close to a record coming up.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:13, and we're going to see a nice sunrise coming up here in just a little while. A mix of sun and clouds to start with this morning. Our temperature 45 degrees, so it is on the chilly side. Definitely a jacket will feel good. Some 30s up near the Virginia line and some 50s down south, but most of the triangle area in the 40s this morning. It's going to be a nice mild afternoon. It was a chilly Sunday, but we'll see a bit more sunshine today, and our high temperature gets almost to 70 degrees this afternoon. I know a lot of folks have Halloween on the brain, and we do have some nice temperatures in our forecast, well above normal. In Raleigh for the day's high 81, 79 in Durham, and 80 degrees in Rocky Mount. Should still be comfortable by trick or treat time. I'll show you the hour by hour Halloween planner coming up, Ken.
Oh, looking forward to that happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. Let's start with this live look down east of I-87 and Rendell Avenue. Traffic has definitely picked up, but moving nicely in both directions for our neighbors coming into the capital city from Zebulon. If you're getting ready to head out this morning, listen to us on the radio. You can listen to us on 101.5 HD3 anywhere in the triangle, or you have another option, 99.3 FM in Raleigh and 96.5 FM in Durham.
Chris Lovingood here in the WRAL Life Center. We're getting some new images from over the weekend of this fire, this massive fire that happened in South Carolina at a barbecue restaurant. Management there says that their barbecue pits, their food prep and processing plant, all of it destroyed, including their offices as well. It took several hours for firefighters to put this out. And I just want to leave you with the aftermath of this right here. You can clearly see the damage there from above. In terms of what started this fire, that has not been announced just yet. And at last check, no injuries reported.
Police in Minneapolis are working to arrest a man who's been charged with shooting his neighbor. A standoff at John Sawchak's home began Wednesday after he allegedly shot his neighbor over a months-long dispute about a tree. You can see the neighbor doing yard work there when it suddenly falls to the ground. The Minneapolis police chief said the department failed the neighbor because they failed to follow up on the neighbor's complaints of harassment.
The Minneapolis police somehow did not act urgently enough to prevent that individual from being shot. And to that victim, I say I am sorry.
Sawchak faces charges of attempted murder. The neighbor is expected to survive.
Authorities in Sampson County are investigating a deadly shooting on Brantwood Court in Roseboro. An EMS official on scene told the WRAL Breaking News Tracker that the shooting Saturday night killed 2 people. We're working to learn who they were and what led to the shooting.
Quarter pounders are going back on the menu at McDonald's nationwide after 75 people got sick and 1 person died from E. coli. WRAL's Michelle McConaughey joins us now. Michelle, that restaurant is confident now the burgers are safe to eat once again.
Yes, they are confident, Jeff, and they say the most likely source of the contamination was this slivered onions from Taylor Farms in Colorado Springs. So the 900 restaurants that get their onions from Taylor Farms will continue selling the quarter pounders just without the onions. The Colorado Department of Agriculture says it tested beef patties from the restaurants associated with the outbreak and found no E. coli. McDonald's says that led it to believe the patties were not what was making people sick. And the company is now asking the beef suppliers to produce a new supply of the fresh beef patties, and the quarter pounder is expected to be available in all restaurants in the coming week. The E. coli outbreak led to 75 illnesses across 13 states, including 22 hospitalizations and 1 death. The FDA and the CDC are continuing to investigate the source of that outbreak. Michelle, thanks. If you shop at Sprouts Farmers Market and bought one of their Chicken Street Taco meal kits, throw it out. The product has been recalled over listeria concerns. The grocery retailer has voluntarily recalled select lots of the taco kit supplied by Fresh Creative Foods. Affected Best Buy dates range from September 2nd to November 7th. If you have one of the taco kits, the FDA says you should not eat it. So throw it out, or you can return it to the store for a refund. No reported illnesses have been linked to this recall. It is 6:17, and yesterday we struggled to get into the 60s for a high. Today we'll warm things up. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a quiet start as we wait on sunrise.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty one. We have some clouds out there this morning, but for the most part, we should have a nice sunrise in Fayetteville, Raleigh, Apex, Chapel Hill, and all across the area. Chapel Hill's courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant this morning. Taking a look at our satellite and radar. High pressure in control of our weather again for today. We had this high bringing in some cool, damp air from off the coast there, and that helped to bring some cloud cover for much of the day, but we did start to see the clouds breaking up during the evening. Tomorrow, we may see a disturbance that's sitting offshore, pushing a few clouds in and possibly a sprinkle or two. We're going to give that a 20% chance on Tuesday, but it's mostly going to be along and east of I-95 most likely. So watering forecast, boy, we're still really, really dry. Forecast rainfall for the next 7 days, again, almost nothing. We have another front that comes through Friday night into Saturday, but it is going to be a dry one, and it will just drop our temperatures. But ahead of it, boy, we're really going to warm up for Halloween. Our normal high for Halloween is 44 in the morning and 68 during the afternoon. This Halloween, 58 in the morning and 81 for the high during the afternoon. That's close to a record high. The record is 85 for Thursday. So at 5 o'clock, 76 degrees, 7 o'clock, 71, and 9 o'clock, 66. So it is going to be nice and comfortable for, you know, whatever costume kids want to wear. You don't have to put the jackets or the coats over it. It'll be dark. Grab the flashlight heading out if you're going to be out after dark. Very little moonlight because the moon will be close to new. Again, heating up for Halloween, 81 for the high in Raleigh compared to the record of 85, and 84 in Fayetteville compared to the record of 86 degrees. But it doesn't stay that way through the weekend. Checking the tropical outlook, this is an area that we've had our eye on for over a week now. The Hurricane Center says it's a 40% chance that this could develop sometime late this week or into next week. This is a look at what is likely to happen. The European model holds it down here in the Caribbean and just doesn't develop it at all. But the American model, the GFS, does develop it and bring it off the coast of the United States. So we'll watch it very closely. More likely, this will be the scenario where a big high pressure system builds in and keeps that system down in the Caribbean. So we're not too concerned about it right now, but we're watching it closely. We'll continue to update you. A very warm Halloween for us. And then, of course, we'll see a front that comes through Friday, bringing us some cooler temperatures for the weekend. Coming up, we're going to talk a little bit more about the time change that happens this weekend.
Extra hours sleep, and we don't have to cover Franklin's Cookie Monster costume.
That's right. Yes.
Exactly.
So good for costume wearers.
I know. Elizabeth, thanks. Here's what you can expect as you're heading out this morning. Actually, a rather quiet start to the morning commute. No major incidents to report in any of our major roadways. And speaking of major roadways, here's one. I-40 and Lake Wheeler Road traffic has definitely picked up nicely, but flowing nicely really in both directions, so nothing really to worry about. If you're heading out this morning, 101.5 HD3, you can listen to us anywhere in the triangle. Take us with you, shall we? And 99.3 FM in Raleigh, 96.5 in Durham. A couple more options to listen to us on the radio.
Ken, thank you. Security is a top concern for North Carolina Central University. Here are the hope students have for next year's celebration after 2 separate shootings during homecoming weekend.
Plus, how one organization is making sure victims of domestic violence have the resources they need amid the storm's destruction.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
The star of Wonka and the Dune series crashed his own look-alike contest.
This is something. Ken Smith here, and I have What's Trending on a Monday, Ken.
Yeah, how cool is this? Timothy Chalamet was in New York City over the weekend during a contest to see who looks most like him. Well, the actor was seen posing for pictures with his curly-haired doppelgangers during an appearance at Washington Square Park. The contest had a promised $50 prize.
He couldn't help himself. He was so curious, right? You want to twin and win in that sense. But a lot of folks were dressed up from the Willy Wonka movie, from his Dune character. But then Timothée Chalamet will be appearing as Bob Dylan in an upcoming biopic, and that's coming out this Christmas.
Can you imagine the head turns? So wait, he looks a lot like him. Well, it is him.
It is him. Well, here's a goosebump moment trending this morning. Superstar singers Adele and Celine Dion sharing an emotional moment at Adele's Las Vegas residency show over the weekend. The two hugged and exchanged a few words as the crowd cheered for the Grammy winners. Both singers were in tears.
Oh, this is so neat. And Adele, Celine, you'll see her sit down. She's dabbing her eyes. I mean, they're both. And, in 2018, when Celine Dion was doing her residency in Vegas, she couldn't finish all her shows and things like that. Adele came backstage to one of her shows, and she just was so taken by the fact that she couldn't do all of her shows, but she was happy Adele made it to one of the ones she could do.
That's wonderful.
Oh, that's true support there.
Yeah. Ken, thanks. And every county man struck it rich after stopping for gas in Boone. Jerry Hicks found $20 in the parking lot on NC 105 in Boone, and he used the money to buy an Extreme Cash scratch-off ticket. And get this, he settled on that one because the store didn't have the one he usually plays and was looking for. Hicks hit the $1 million jackpot, chose the lump sum payout $600,000, so after taxes, a cool $430,000. He says he plans to retire and help his children.
Concert for Carolina and Charlotte Saturday night raised more than $24.5 million for Helene recovery. More than 75,000 fans filled Bank of America Stadium for this sold-out show. North Carolina natives Luke Combs, Eric Church, the Avett brothers, and others performed. And because the concert was so popular, organizers also made a live stream option so that people, especially in Western North Carolina, could watch. Governor Roy Cooper says officials estimate Helene caused $53 billion in damage in our state, a large majority of that damage in Western North Carolina. Work to improve a bridge on Falls of Neuse Road will begin this morning, where you're looking live right now. How long drivers should expect delays to last.
And taking a look at temperatures heading out the door, it's pretty chilly in a lot of places, a lot colder than it was this time yesterday. So take along a jacket or a coat, but I'll show you when our temperatures really start to warm up.
The Yankees head home. They got a chance for redemption and get back into this series. The World Series returns to the Big Apple tonight. We'll have an update on Dodger star Shohei Ohtani and his injury ahead of Game 3. A live look right there at the Statue of Liberty in New York City.